Traversal ENT in the building, guys. Welcome back to another one. Let's get straight to it, right? Now, let me say this, guys. It's with regret that I'm making this video, right? It is actually with great regret that I'm making this video. Believe me, I didn't want to do this video, but I don't have a choice. Because the guy he's fighting, I don't have a choice, right? Let's talk about it. Jermall Charlo. Yeah, that one. That twin. Jermall Charlo. Now understand, guys, there's going to be a potential level of disrespect in this video, but it is what it is. Because when I feel like I've been pushed too much, I have to, don't back me into a corner. Because when you back me into a corner, I'm going to have to come through you now. And I feel like Jermall Charlo's done that to me, so I feel like I've got to go through him now. So it is what it is, right? So Jermall Charlo, the 160-pounder, right? The middleweight guy who can also fight at super middleweight 168. Make no mistake about it. Comfortably. Yeah? That guy. Yeah? There's a difference with him and his there's a difference with him and his brother, right? There's a difference with him and his brother Jermall. Both Charlos are lions. They are both lions. Jermall, he has athleticism, he's got skill, he's got boxing IQ. Listen to me, in terms of checklist, Jermall Charlo ticks almost every single box. I don't think there's a box he doesn't tick in terms of ability, right? Ability checklist, he ticks everything. Not like a Chris Eubank Jr., who doesn't tick many at all. He ticks a very few if you bring the checklist out. Eubank Jr. ticks very few. Jermall Charlo ticks almost everything. I can't think of anything this guy doesn't tick. Hooks, uppercuts, jabs, athleticism, height, strength, toughness. He has it all. That's what makes it so much more complex and baffling, mind-boggling. He has it all. He's a lion. But guess what, guys? He is a lion with no fire in his belly. He doesn't have the fire in his belly that he's supposed to have. I'll be honest with you, for the longest time, I was under the impression that he did have the fire in his stomach. I did. I thought Jermall Charlo, just like Jermall, he's got the fire in his stomach. I was wrong. I can honestly put my hand up and say I was wrong. Yeah? He doesn't have the fire in his stomach. He is, or he's become, he's content being a grass-eating lion. That's what Jermall Charlo is. He's a lion, but a grass-eating one. It's not very terrifying, is it? When you think a grass-eating lion. It takes away a lot from the majesty or the awe of the lion when you think he's a grass eater. What, you a deer? Like, for real. This Jermall Charlo guy, he mind-boggling. Let me compare and contrast. Out of the two brothers, Jermall's had the easier route. Yeah? Jermall has definitely had the harder route. Him getting into boxing was the harder route. And also, the fights that they've had throughout their career, Jermall's had the tougher fights. I don't care what you think on paper. If you look at the fighters, in terms of ability-wise, what they're capable of doing, the fighters that Jermall has fought are capable of more than the fighters that Jermall has fought, right? Jermall is happy to take a risk. Jermall is not comfortable taking risks, right? There is no way in God's green earth, Jermall, the fighter that fights at 154, there's no way he would have allowed someone like a Daniel Jacobs to come up to him on his face and try and punk him. That could never happen. We both know that. Excuse me. That could never happen. He would have swung for him. Bottom line. On top of that, there's no way Jermall would have allowed his name to be attached to Daniel Jacobs' name for so long that a fight can finally happen. One guy really wants the other guy. You're acting like you want him, but you don't want him. Jermall could never, ever end that without the two of them in the ring, one of them being stretched out, knocked out. It couldn't go any other way with Jermall Charlo. It'd have to end that way. It could not end any other way but a guy stretched out. It couldn't end another way because you're dealing with a lion who's got pride. You're dealing with a lion who's got a lot of fire in his belly. You're dealing with a lion who's got a chip on his shoulder. He fights like he's an underdog mentality, and he feels like he's got something to prove, although he's already a unified champion. He wants to be undisputed. He wants to be clear-cut, the best, no doubt, no questions asked. You think of 140, 154, Jermall Charlo is that guy. He wants to put his stamp on it. I respect that in a fighter. The brother, he's become a grass-eating lion. Your name's been attached to Daniel Jacobs. You haven't fought Daniel Jacobs. The fight could have been easily made. You haven't fought Daniel Jacobs. Let me make something clear so that no one's under any illusion. And I don't want the Charlo to lie to you. He is the one that doesn't want to make that fight happen. Don't let anyone tell you any different. Trust me. He is the one that doesn't want to make the fight happen. God knows why. But there's the thing with Jermall Charlo. He wants to fight the best guy in each division. He wants to fight the best guy in his division. I say best guy. The top guy's name, if you want, in Golovkin. He wants to fight Canelo one weight class above, 168. He'll fight Canelo. But he doesn't want to fight other guys that call him out that are equally as dangerous. Then you have to think, is it because he ain't going to get paid the same way? But how much are you getting paid to fight the guys you are fighting? You can't be getting crazy millions to fight those guys that you're fighting. Because if you are getting that kind of money and you could be getting the same, fine, I get it. Why get the same money and fight a harder fight when you can fight a lesser fight? But then that goes to show the kind of fighter you are. You're not about cementing yourself. You're about getting paid in. But I'm not mad at you if that's the case. Because at the end of the day, some boxers fight for legacy, pride. Some boxers fight to be in the history books. Some boxers fight for money. Simple as, just the money. Prize fighters, right? So I'm not going to be mad at you if you're offered, let's say, for example, you're offered $1 million to fight an average guy, or you could fight a dangerous fighter for the same money and you take the average guy. I don't like that, but I'm not going to be mad at you, right? They should pay you more. Fine. But when they're going to give you more money to fight the dangerous guy and you still take the other guy over there with less money, there's no history, there's no bad blood, no one gives two craps, 2 rats' ass couldn't be given for the fight you're taking, and you're still taking them, I have to question you as a fighter. I have to question you as a warrior. I have to question your mentality. Like, you are a lion, you've got everything, but you eat grass, mate. Now, I'm being nice to you, telling you that you're a grass-eating lion. Anyone that knows Traversal ENT, when I eat for fighters, I go in on them. I'm being real nice to you. You know why? I'll be honest with you, because this guy's one of my favorite fighters in boxing. So I find it really difficult to trash him because he's one of my favorite fighters in boxing. He's on my top 5. I find it really hard to trash him. But you are a grass-eating lion, mate, because your brother in your shoe could never tolerate what you tolerated. That tells me all I need to know. You were lined up to fight David Benavidez. You got scared. Let me make that clear. I don't want to hear fighters don't get scared. Don't give me that BS. That's a lie. That's a fat lie. Don't tell me fighters don't get scared. You mean to tell me fighters never got scared to fight Mike Tyson? When they saw him come in the ring, some fighters were frozen stiff. They still got in there to get paid. They got cleaned out. Don't tell me fighters that don't get scared. Boxers don't get scared. They're human. Everyone gets scared sometimes, right? Jermall Charlo is fearful of getting in there against David Benavidez. Even when you saw that Benavidez' last fight, you didn't think he looked impressive. You said, I'll definitely knock him out. Well, go and do it then. No. Instead, you know who he selects? He's picking a guy unheard of. He is picking to fight a Juan Macias, Montiel, some orthodox Mexican fighter, 27 years old. I'm looking at his record. His last fight was against James Kirkland. James Kirkland is washed. He fought Hugo Centuro, who you also fought, correct me if I'm wrong. Like, no disrespect to this fighter, I don't know him that well, but he is not in your class. That's the point. You shouldn't be fighting guys like that. Look, the biggest slack you got on your career is that your career is fading away without you having a meaningful fight, and you're content. Right? Maybe I care too much about you than I'm supposed to. Maybe I need to have your mentality, Jermall Charlo, because you got the mentality of you don't give two craps. You don't give two rats asses about anything. Okay, cool. Maybe I need to adopt your mentality because maybe I'm the idiot. I'm starting to feel like a big idiot. Maybe I'll adopt your mentality of not giving two rats ass about you as a fighter. How about that? How about if everyone adopted that mentality of not giving two rats ass about you full stop? So we stop watching your fights. Ain't no one paying for a pay-per-view you ever do. How about that? And see how much you start getting paid after that. Oh, controversial ENT, you guys are trying to mess with the guy's money. Of course we're not. I'm just saying, how about if I adopt your mentality? Because you don't give a monkeys about nothing. So how about I adopt that same mentality and not give a monkeys about you? How about that? I'm gonna say it, put it on record today. Jermall Charlo is the better one of the two when it comes to boxing. Overall, his brother might be gifted in more areas than him in certain aspects. Fine, but I say Jermall Charlo undisputedly is the better brother out of the two of them. There's no doubt about that. I just wanted to put that out there. The opponents you're picking, crunch time, are appalling. Straight up. Appalling opponents he's picking during crunch time. But he's content. Now, that Divonchenko fight, everyone thought it was going to be a dangerous fight for you. You done your thing. I ain't mad at that. But after that, you had Benavidez who wanted your ass, right? Jacobs wanted your ass during the Divonchenko before and after. You don't want nothing to do with none of that. Dennis Hogan, Brian Adams, all these guys. I don't want to see you fighting guys that are so subpar to you like that. Why don't you fight someone in the Divonchenko level or above? Why are you fighting this guy? Why? Why are you fighting this guy? Then you're calling out Canelo. Let me say this one more time, guys. The Canelo Charlo fight is a great mega fight. Yes, we all understand that. But I am going to side with Saul Canelo Alvarez right now. And I'm going to categorically side with him and tell you straight, you do not deserve that fight. You don't deserve it. You don't deserve that fight at all, mate. You don't deserve that fight at all. What on earth have you done to make you think you deserve a Canelo fight? Like, why do you deserve a Canelo fight? You don't. You don't deserve it. I don't want Canelo to give you that fight. That's just, I'm going to be very real, because I don't think you deserve that fight. Why do you deserve that fight? You don't deserve it. This man could easily go into 168 today, as we speak. Go in there, which I'm looking at Ring TV. He could fight Caleb Plant. He'd beat Caleb Plant, in my opinion. He'd beat Callum Smith. Why didn't you go fight Callum Smith and get the belt off Callum Smith that Canelo's now rocking? Why didn't you do that? Callum Smith's been campaigning in that weight class for the longest time. Why didn't you, Jermall Charlo, go and fight Callum Smith? What, you didn't think you could beat him? They weren't going to pay you enough? You don't have the fire in your belly. That's all it is. So I ain't going to dish you. It is what it is, right? He could have gone in there. He could have fought a Billy Joe Saunders. He could have fought an Anthony Durrell. He could beat a John Ryder. He could easily beat a David Lemieux. He could... Daniel Jacobs and him, that's still pending. A Chudonov and all those other bums that you got in that the weight division. Some of them are serious bums in that weight division. You mean to tell me Jermall Charlo can't beat some of these guys? So why the hell is he fighting who he's fighting next? I'm done. I've got nothing more to say about Jermall Charlo. Jermall's a warrior. Jermall you're grass eating line, mate. You're grass eating as far as I'm concerned. So as it stands right now, I am completely detaching myself from Jermall Charlo. I am off the Jermall Charlo train officially. Controversial ENT, I'm done with this guy, guys. I'm done.